Dang, this mocktail, by the way, is the vibe. Like, you're always gonna catch me drinking on this channel because it, you're always gonna catch, like, I'm not drinking alcohol, but you're always gonna catch me with a fancy glass because when you have the option to drink your drink out of a wine glass, why would you not? Why is that not the auto response? Per the usual, we're going to go ahead and get into a little bit of self-care. So we're going to start with the steamer because y'all know how much I love that. So we're going to pull this hair right out of my face and we're going to get into it. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I don't even really need to pull my hair up because that just kind of works. So we're going to turn the steamer on, hope that she's not loud. And also, let me get some of this coffee in my life because, bless. Okay, we're also going to be using that face oil again. We're going to start with lymphatic drainage. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and take these off because they are dry. Actually, this is a really good time to tell you while we're getting this going that this episode is also a podcast, which has a totally different intro where I talked about like some other witchy stuff. And the podcast, we talk about like witch stuff under the full moon. So if you want to give it a listen, I would definitely encourage that. New episodes every Monday. Avi on the podcast. It's called Divine Authenticity. There are always more episodes of the podcast than there are videos like this. So definitely make sure that you're listening to the podcast every Monday. My goal for this year is actually like, let your astrology bestie tell you about her dreams for a second, okay? My goal for this year is to hit 1 million listens on my podcast. That's like my number one. If I could do that, I would be floored. And I feel like we're already well on our way. Like the podcast currently has 187K listens. Now that is accumulated over 3 years because the podcast is 3 years old. So it's not like we just did that in 2023, but my goal is to hit that million before the end of the year. So if you want to help a girl do that, please make sure you also go check out the podcast. It's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. New episodes every Monday at 4:44 a.m. Pacific time. And it's a good time. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with some lymphatic drainage massage. So we're going to open up the lymph nodes. Y'all know the drill. Oh, it feels so good. This is like my favorite way to do self-care. And then like we're talking about astrology today. This is just like, this is my idea of a good time. I hope you're also doing your skincare or like you have a nice bevy for yourself. Like just be on FaceTime with me, okay? Be on FaceTime with me. We're going to pray to the almighty planet Jupiter that the fucking Amazon truck driver doesn't come to my house right now because I do, once again, have a package that is out for delivery, which I'm telling y'all, I really don't buy that much from Amazon, but I needed new toothpaste and the toothpaste that I like is not sold in stores. So it's in like one of my past favorites videos, but the toothpaste that I use, you can't get it in store. You have to buy it online. And we're literally like out of toothpaste. I've been squeezing the end of that tube for like 2 weeks longer than I ever should have had to. So we're having a hard time. Anyways, oh, this feels so good. Just like last time, I feel like I'm having a hard time like being in the zone because this just feels so correct. Especially under the steam. Like if y'all want to try this, I of course link everything down below for you. My steamer that I like to use. If I can link any of like the drink stuff, I will too. Though I don't know if you can buy Trader Joe's juice online. Maybe you might be able to. I've seen their yuzu sauce on Amazon before, which that stuff is the bomb. But I will, of course, like link my steamer and all of that if you want to have a little self-care sesh with your astro bestie. Okay, let's talk about this full moon that's coming up. It's in Virgo. It's on March 7th at 16 degrees Virgo. And this day, I expect to cry, to be honest. You may not. I will tell you the signs that are going to be more impacted by this full moon are anybody that has a mutable sign, sun, moon, rising, or like major mutable energy. So the mutable signs are Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Gemini. So all of y'all, it's going to be a little bit of an emotional reset. I also want to give an honorable mention to anybody with Aquarius in Saturn or anybody with Pisces in Saturn, because that same day of this full moon, Saturn is actually going to be moving out of Aquarius and into the sign of Pisces. I have been waiting 3 years for this transit to take place, and it's time. I am so ready for Saturn to be out of my everything. I put out a video last week. If you want to go listen to it, I'll link it down below, where we did this same thing. And I talked to you all about the Saturn transit and how it's going to impact you specifically, whether you have Saturn in Pisces or wherever Saturn like is for you, based off of your rising sign, sun, moon, and rising, but based off of your rising, what this transit is going to mean for you, because it does impact everyone, regardless of if you have Saturn in Pisces or not. But sorry, I'm trying to remember what is next. My brain just kind of died a little bit. But if you have Saturn in Pisces or not, or Saturn in Aquarius or not, this is still a transit that impacts everybody, and it's happening the same day as the full moon. And it's a transit that is going to last for the next 3 years. So this is like a deeply impactful one. The other thing I want to say is an honorable mention for Sagittarius. Sagittarius risings like myself. We're going to talk a little bit about it later, but this is also like the high point in your chart you're having like an ending in. So like your 10th house, your midheaven, it's the high point in your chart, your glory, your work, your career, what you give to the public. I feel like I really, during any full moon discussion, need to start talking about people's midheavens, because I feel like they always are kind of big endings to something a little more serious, or, it just, anyway, we'll get into that a little bit later, but I wanted to give an honorable mention. So this full moon, what do we know about full moons? First of all, full moons are usually endings, unless it's an eclipse. Eclipses are a little more dramatic. This is not an eclipse. Full moons are usually the closure to a 6-month cycle. So I want you to think about, what were you doing 6 months ago? And this would be when the sun was in Virgo. Okay, so sun would be in Virgo at the end of August, early September. So this is going to be like August 21st-ish to September 21st-ish, somewhere in that range. This is when you would have been dealing with like new beginnings in this area of your life, a new beginning in your career, a new beginning in, I mean, for me, it would be career, but like a new beginning in multiple different areas, which we'll get into the specifics in a little bit. But it also could have just been like generally, because Virgo deals with our health, our routines, our wellness, domestic animals, as well as service to others. So I do feel like work can fall into this for many people, just because it is giving some kind of service to others. But my point to this is that you would have started something new around that time last year, or like committed to something, maybe a new health routine, something like that. And this is kind of the closure of that transit. So where in your life do you, I also want to say that, like, just because I'm giving you the specifics of this full moon, it doesn't mean that it can't bring closure to other areas of your life too. Full moons are just like really good for doing that, period. So just think about that time in your life and maybe kind of revisit. Like, my favorite way to do this, if you don't know, if you're one of those people like myself that's like, girl, I don't even know what I was doing 3 days ago, let alone 6 months ago. Go into your phone and look through your albums. If you're on an iPhone, I don't know about Android, unfortunately, I can't help you with that. But if you're on Apple, you can sort your photo albums by month and go back to August, September and see what was going on. In my life, I went through, it wasn't dramatic, but I went through a friendship breakup with a Virgo, which is kind of funny. I mean, it's not funny. It was very sad, actually. It was very sad. I did not want to let this person go, but I really saw a pattern in my own life that needed to be healed. And this person, unfortunately, was a big trigger for it. And no like shade intended against them at all. They are such a wonderful person. I think nothing but like highly of them, and honestly miss them sometimes, because like we had a lot of fun together. But ultimately, some people no matter like whether they're like good or bad. Some people just will trigger certain things within you. And I don't know why I'm talking to you about friendship now, but like the point is I went through a friendship breakup at that time, and I went through this crazy recommitment to myself at the time. And it was actually a really good, like it was very, very sad, but it catapulted me into really doing a lot of healing work with myself. And like I got really into the Superhuman app at the time, which I talk about all the time on my podcast, especially. I got really into just like taking care of myself and my own health and my own mental and physical well-being at the time. And honestly, it was a really like selfish time for me, but in like the best way. I was really happy. Like after the heartbreak, I was really happy. And isn't that just kind of the damnedest thing when you like go through something in your life, and the moment you like clear energy that isn't serving you, whether it's people, places, situations, ideas, outdated beliefs, you know, it's like immediately the universe brings beautiful things into your life. And again, that's not a knock on the person. I really want to make that clear. I literally hope nothing but the best for them in their life. I really genuinely, from my whole heart, mean that. I do not hold like ill will for that person at all. I genuinely think they were a healer for me in the sense that they pinpointed, without really doing anything but being themselves, they pinpointed something in me that I really needed to break through. So like it was a good thing that this person was in my life at the time, but it was also really healthy for me to let them go. And like that's what I was doing 6 months ago. So really interesting. I feel like I'm going to get some kind of like interesting closure on that. But in any case, I did take some notes, so we're going to look at that. The other thing I want to say about this full moon before we dive into like specific predictions is this full moon. Let me get a little sip actually. So good. Oh my gosh, this feels so good. Like you don't have to buy this face steamer. Like I said, of course it's linked, but like you can get one for like $20 on Amazon. This is like the best $20 or I think mine was more, but I know people that have bought them cheaper and they also work great. It's not me trying to sell you on something. Genuinely, like do this for yourself. It feels so good. I feel like it feels even better this time because I'm like in the steam more. Last time I think I had my steamer too far away from me, and this just feels so good. And then I had like my eye jellies on. I got my actually 3 drinks. I didn't show you my water. I've got water too. Always. I'm so like, they say that this is like a trait of like ADHD and or autism where you have to have like 5 beverages. I have a drink that's my mocktail. I have water and I have some hot coffee here. Like she's just living her best life. I don't get dehydrated. I moisturize it daily. Lizzo, so good. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to say about this moon is that this moon maybe will feel very uncomfortable for most of us. And that is because it's a Virgo full moon, right? Virgo is the sign that is heavily analytical. And the moon does not enjoy that. The moon is emotional, it's creative, it's expansive, it's free. And so having Virgo having the moon in Virgo, it's uncomfortable. Virgo wants to analyze. Virgo wants to make sense of something that you can't really make sense of. Your emotions are not something that you're meant to just make sense of, right? We have to feel through them. So I do feel like this moon can be a little uncomfortable just because the moon does not really enjoy being in Virgo. It's just not happy there. And that doesn't mean if you're a Virgo moon that like your life is fucking doomed or anything. It just means that you may have a harder time feeling through things. You want to mentally process and like logic everything. So just keep that in mind. We talked about Saturn changing signs. Oh, we also have Mars. I want to say it's Mars in Gemini is actually squaring this full moon, which definitely is kind of just like pissy, petty energy. So I would definitely say over this full moon, especially because Virgo and Gemini both deal with Mercury, they're ruled by Mercury. This is like communication. To me, this is like petty communication. It's people being petty. It's bitchy. It's petty. Like just don't get caught up in bullshit with other people. Get deep in your do not disturb era, okay? This is where we put the phone on do not disturb and we just don't talk to nobody over the full moon for 3 days. I really am that person. I will plan my socializing around the moon because like, do I want to talk to somebody when that is happening? No. I feel like it just kind of makes communication a little bit difficult and it's annoying. It's not like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Everybody's going to be mad at each other. It's just annoying. It's annoying. And we're just not really having like cute conversations. So is that all I want to say about that? Yeah, it's just like, the full moon always brings heightened emotions, endings, closure. And sometimes I want to say that like closure isn't always somebody actually giving you closure. It's you finding closure in this sector of your life. Oh, that was actually perfect. My camera died right when I was putting my steamer, like my steamer turned off right when my camera died. So it was actually kind of perfect. It was like the perfect moment to change over my stuff. So that's what I was saying though, is that this full moon, it brings a heightened sense of emotion, endings, closure around a specific area of your life that I'm going to tell you about. So basically, I would say look for your rising, of course. We're going to run through these kind of quickly. I'm not actually planning to spend like a ton of time here. But, well, I know me though, and I'm such a chatty little bitch. So we might be here a minute, but I will try to timestamp these for YouTube. For the podcast, unfortunately, you're just going to either have to listen or skip ahead. But check your sun, moon, rising. We're going to start with Virgo and then go from Aries down through the zodiac. So ending with Pisces. So first and foremost, if you are a Virgo rising, sun or moon, but like I said, I read these for the rising. They're intended for risings. If you are a Virgo, sun, moon, rising, mainly rising, this is all about you, yourself, right? This is about yes, I am literally squirting a beauty blender. I do what I want. This is literally about you. It's all about your self-image, who you are. This is a fresh start, a new beginning. And like, to me, it's an ending, but with endings, sometimes new beginnings can start. But I also feel like the new moons are really for beginnings, but also don't let me tell you how to use your moon. Okay. So I feel like honestly, if you are a Virgo rising, I feel like when you have your full moon on your rising, I usually feel like it's a good experience personally. I can't say how every person's experience is for them, but when it's for me, I always feel like a Sagittarius full moon, because I'm a Sag rising, is like fun. I enjoy those full moons. So I don't look at this as being like a bad time. I think ultimately it has potential to be like really nice for you. And ultimately just know that something that has to do with you, your self-image, how you see yourself is going to shift. You're going to gain some closure on something in your life that revolves literally around you and how you view yourself in this world. Now, if you are an Aries rising, this is actually happening in your Virgo house. So you're going to have some kind of ending when it comes to your health. And this isn't like me telling you that you're going to miraculously heal from some like long-term ailment. It's not like that. I can't predict stuff like that, and I don't think most people in this community would. I feel like you should really like seek medical attention if that is what you are needing. Please do not use this as like a diagnosis that you're going to miraculously heal or something like that. This could literally be just you gaining closure on maybe a past health situation, or finally feeling like your health is getting into a better place. Like you don't need to focus so intensely on it. I would also say that, especially because this deals with domestic animals too, this can often bring, I don't want to say endings with animals, but honestly, it can even bring just like deeper connection with animals. It can also bring you maybe some closure with coworkers, with people that you connect with on a day-to-day basis. I also really like this moon. If you feel like you're somebody that overworks yourself in some area of your life, I often feel like this is a really great full moon to kind of release like workaholic tendency for you. So that's what's going on with Aries. Taurus, this is actually going to be in your dating house. So I would say just kind of expect that you're getting closure in an area of like dating. You're getting closure maybe on somebody who ghosted you. This can also be closure on just something that isn't really fulfilling you or bringing you happiness in life, because this specific transit also deals with like your joy, your childlike wonder and joy specifically. So I do feel like with this, you can often see where like things that aren't making you happy, aren't serving you, you really gain closure on them and kind of move on, and you reconnect to that sense of childlike wonder. If you are a Gemini rising, this is going to be happening. You're getting some closure on a housing situation. So this could be like your actual physical home. This can also be your relationship to your inner world, because I always believe when it comes to this transit, even though it is our physical home, I also feel that what we experience inside is often reflected outside too. So if you're really deeply unsettled in your inner world, your actual physical home is going to have a lot of complication, right? So I also feel like this kind of can blend into our inner world if we're not paying enough attention to it. But to me, this is closure on a housing situation. It could be that you're actually gaining closure on like, you could literally close on a home, though I wouldn't, with this full moon, I don't really think it's a good time to sign contracts, to be honest with you. I feel like, especially because it's a full moon in Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury. And then we have this full moon squaring Mars in Gemini, which is like also mercurial. And Mercury is our communicator. I just feel like, signing contracts, before or maybe a few days after the full moon would be okay. But I would not recommend this full moon for that, for actually like signing contracts on the day. I just don't feel like it's good for that. Sorry, I need a face wipe for my hands. My hands are all dirty now. Last time we did this video, I didn't blend the inner corners of my eyes, and you could totally tell that they were just like bare. It was triggering me when I was seeing the edited footage. So I was like, we need to get in there this time. Okay, in any case, this just deals also a little bit with your childhood. So you might find that you're gaining closure on your actual childhood, something that went, now please remember, like, I'm not a therapist. I'm not saying like the shit that happened in your childhood is just going to miraculously go away. But I do feel like sometimes this can be like healing from childhood, healing from just gaining closure maybe on something from childhood. Okay. I'm trying to give like all the options, but know that it's going to impact each of you differently. Even if you're like 5 of you were in a room together and you're all Gemini risings, you're all probably going to deal with something different because your lives day to day are different than each other's. Now moving on to Cancer. If you're a Cancer rising, this is actually going to be closure or an ending in how you network, how you communicate, how you socialize. Maybe you're somebody in the past, especially a Cancer rising, that you've kind of always been the support system, or you've been somebody that like lets other people kind of bleed onto you. Cancer risings have like the biggest hearts, so I could definitely see that. I have a lot of Cancer risings in my life too. Literally, I know so many of you, and I think it's because Cancer risings have Taurus in their 11th, and the 11th house is friendship. So I feel like Cancer risings see Tauruses as friends, which is cute. I love that for us because I love Cancers. But Cancer rising, this is an ending on communication and like some type of way that you do social networking. So if you're big on social media, social networking, something of that regard, you can just expect something here to change, be altered, or end. This also deals with siblings to a degree. So you could also see like something ending with siblings if there's been, any kind of contention, or something that maybe has been like a long-standing thing, right? We can see those things end during this kind of full moon. Moving on to Leo. If you're a Leo rising, this is an ending to, I would say, like possibly like financial peril or like financial crisis. If you feel like your finances haven't really been making sense lately, This is definitely a time period where your finances can really improve and get better. It's like an ending to not finances being good, but I feel like it's an ending to maybe a way that your finances or your financial situation really hasn't been serving you. So I like that. I look forward to that for you. Libra, this is actually in your house of healing. So I would say for this full moon for you, Libra, might actually be a little more dramatic in the sense that when it comes to, oh, I didn't even realize that, Libra. I learn something new about astrology every day, I swear. Libra, you kind of always deal with like analytical thinking around healing. And it honestly probably doesn't give you a lot of patience with other people when they're like dealing with some nonsense. You're the person that's like, we logically thought about it. Let's just move on. But I do feel like this full moon, you're healing something very like specific, like it could be some like emotional upset of some kind. You're really working through the healing of it though, and I feel like for you, this might be a moon that's a little more intense. Just because I do find that going through the house of Pisces can be, oh, sorry, punched you, can be a little bit more intense in general. Just whenever I have a new or full moon going through my 12th house of Pisces, I just feel like those are more intense for me. So this might be a little bit more intense. You might be crying for sure. But I don't want you to think that you're just going to be like a sad sack the entire full moon. Like something I want to remind you when I say, like I told y'all earlier in this video slash podcast that I felt like I was going to cry on the full moon. I love to cry. I don't see this as a bad thing. Crying actually helps our body release cortisol. And when we release cortisol, it's literally the stress hormone. So we're releasing stress from our body when we allow ourselves to cry. And I don't see crying as a bad thing. I actually look forward to it when I get frustrated when I can't cry. So I think crying is a beautiful thing. I think we need to relearn about it as a society and not fear it so much. Also, I don't know where my tweezers are, and I have a serious mustache hair right here, and it's actually driving me nuts. But it's okay. We're just gonna do what we can, and we're just going to pretend it's not there, because you know what? Hair on the body is normal, and I'm a girl with PCOS, so sometimes I have hair in places that I don't want it, and that's fine. Okay, moving on to Scorpio. This is going to be an ending to friendship. So this could be an actual friendship breakup. It could be boundaries in a friendship. Just something in your friendship sector needs to end or be changed, or maybe you're like getting over a past friendship breakup too. I've seen that be something that happens. But ultimately, your friendship sector, I also feel like this kind of full moon deals with your hopes, wishes, dreams. So this could also be like letting go of not a current dream. Like if it's still on your heart and something you really want in this lifetime, this isn't me telling you give up on your dream, because no, quite the opposite. If it's desired by you, it's destined for you. But there might be some dreams, wishes, plans, goals that you have that actually aren't in alignment with you anymore. And it's okay to let those ones go. But the ones that still really make your heart sing, definitely keep those. But I'm just saying this might be a good time for you to ask yourself what you really want out of life. And if you're currently not in a position where you feel like you're on your way to that, it's time to kind of re-strategize, reevaluate. Now, moving on to Sagittarius. This one's kind of big for us, bestie. If y'all didn't know, now you do. I'm a Sagittarius rising, so I feel like I am like the resident Sag rising that I always spend the most time talking to you. Like Sagittarius always gets a big segment in these videos because I'm very familiar with that energy because it's my energy. So how does it feel to be God's favorite? Because literally you get to come here and hear the most about you. But Sagittarius risings, this is about your career and your long-term goals, which I just got done telling Scorpio risings, they're like big dreams, but that's like pie in the sky dreams, okay? These are like our actual tangible things that we see for ourselves in the future and like having a plan to get there. This is also a reset in the sense of your career. And it's if you don't have a career, because I also really want to say, I think we do Capricorn, because this is a Capricorn transit that we're going through. We do Capricorn really dirty in astrology by making Capricorn like literally a capitalist. Like we do Capricorn so dirty in the Western world. So I don't want to make this all about the career, but if you are a career person like I am, I do feel like this is really important because you're actually going to be re-strategizing what you want for your career, and you're going to be letting go of parts of your career that just no longer serve the person that you're becoming. And I actually am looking forward to this moon, especially because it's the same day that Saturn moves. Also, yes, I know I'm using a conspiracy palette. Yes, I know we canceled the people who made this, but I don't believe in cancel culture. And girl, I paid a lot of money for this. I was not trying to just throw it away. Okay. As I was saying though, Sag risings, this is really just a huge emphasis on your long-term vision, especially, I don't know about y'all, maybe it's because I've been in my Saturn return, so it's like hitting hard, but I feel like my career has been in a really weird place lately. And honestly, it's why I'm making videos like this. I'm trying to do things that like re-inspire my creativity instead of just making pick a cards every week, because that's fun. Don't get me wrong. I love reading people's cards, but it's not the only thing that I love. So I've just been like making new stuff because I feel like I've missed that. But in any case, this is just kind of an ending in your career, your long-term goals. If you're somebody that is a goal, Goal, digger like myself, I feel like this is a necessary full moon that we've been needing to really re-strategize how we want to keep moving forward in our career. And this can also be a dramatic ending to honestly like kind of like what I was saying with Scorpio, because I just feel like they're a little bit similar this month in some ways. This is also letting go of like past goals that you wanted to see actualize at one time, and now you just don't really care about them. And it's okay to let those things go. You don't have to keep promises to anyone or any like any past versions of yourself don't really have to have a say, if that makes sense. So sorry, I feel like I just rambled at you for a long time, Sag, but next up we have Capricorn. This is an ending in your academic life, like things that you want to know, learn. You could literally be like graduating or something. This is also an ending to like, it could be like deciding you don't want to travel as much anymore. Like maybe you were really gung ho about travel and now you're like, nah, I'm just like not really feeling it. So it could be like even like a change in travel plans. I don't know how to do live liner. I just try. In fact, I'm not even very good at makeup, like period. I just mess around. I feel like I just want to like, oops, I think I just also low key, high key. I don't know. I'm just like not very good at drawing straight lines of any kind. Okay, sorry, Capricorn. So this could be like an ending of travel of some kind. It could be like deciding to kind of lay low for a little bit. Maybe travel plans get canceled. And also like anything academically that you've been into, things that you've been learning, you're putting kind of an end to something. Aquarius, this is all about your spirituality and also like debts, taxes, collections, things like that. So this could be literally like paying off debt or, coming to a place where you're like moving on from debt, but also possibly getting rid of like outdated spiritual beliefs or religious beliefs or restrictions. And especially with Saturn moving off of your rising, that's going to feel really good for you on this day. And then Pisces, lastly, this is an ending in partnerships, relationships, contracts. So this could be like, please know that if you're in a healthy place in your relationship, this doesn't mean you're just going to like break up. But like if shit is already unhealthy, this could be an actual breakup or the releasing of a contract of some kind. So it could also be like ending a contract that was already naturally coming to an end. Like don't let this be something that's just going to scare you. But Pisces, please remember that we do have Saturn entering your sign. So I do feel like like there's going to be some restriction coming in for you, possibly even around partnerships and contracts as well at the same time, because Saturn moving into your sign might cause this full moon to be a little more serious for you. And that is ultimately what I have for this full moon. Let me go ahead and put my lipstick on. I love a nice red. Cute. I also love this stuff because it's like non-transferable too. Like the Kat Von D, which she doesn't even own the brand anymore before anybody freaks out. It's like totally operated by somebody else now, but they've kept her name and label on it, which I don't know why, because I feel like her name like ruined the brand. You would think they would want to rename the brand, but they didn't. It's like totally operated by different people now. I don't want to do my hair. I never want to do my hair. Okay, so that is all that I have for you. I hope this like talking like we're on FaceTime about the full moon while I get ready, do my makeup, get cute and adorable for you was a fun time. Let me know. So many of you in the last one asked for more of these videos, so I decided to make another one. Where's my jewel? Actually, I do not promote smoking on my channel. I think smoking is bad for your health, and I would hope that you wouldn't do it. I have like these little clippies, but where's the rest of my clippies? Like, see, I have like these that are really cute. And then I also have these yellow ones too. And then I have all these other colors, but I don't know where they are. I could just do these brown ones. I wanted to put the red ones in. I'm trying to grow out my bangs because they're not even the same length right now. Like, don't talk to me about the bangs I ruined during Mercury in retrograde. Last time it was in retrograde. Don't talk to me about it. I don't want to talk about it. But I think I told y'all I'm doing a bangless year in 2023. I'm not cutting new bangs because somebody told me one time that I have a big forehead, or actually a few people in my family, because family are the worst. And I just don't want to have bangs anymore, because why would I ever listen to somebody else's opinion of my looks? Like, how stupid. Why do any of us listen ever to anybody else's opinion of what we look like? Isn't my opinion of myself the most important one? You know? Also, I am like loving, I think I tried to do this in the last video too. I'm really, really, really loving that the butterfly clip trend is back. I just think she is so cute. She's so like 2000s/90s. She's here, and I'm just really here for it, especially because I don't really feel like I got to participate when I was that age. So I'm really happy I get to participate now. I feel like my makeup looks way better today than it did in the last one that we did. In any case, I hope that this video and podcast were helpful for you. I hope that this was fun and entertaining and you enjoyed doing a little self-care, having a few little bevies with me, and I hope you enjoy this full moon. Let yourself cry if you want to cry about it. It's all good. Crying is therapeutic. Please remember that it's good for your body to cry. Your body literally helps you to de-stress. And so many of us were taught to suppress that. And it makes me so fucking mad at any parent that's like, don't cry or I'll give you something to cry about it. I want to punch your parent in the throat if they did that to you. My parents did shit like that, and I want to punch them in the throat. So, you know, if you feel like crying, cry it out. It's all good. If you feel like, you know, this ending in this area of your life, I feel like ultimately it's going to feel good. I'm anticipating it. I'm looking forward to it. But ultimately, like, I want to say something that I didn't really say is that Virgo is also really into like caring for the self. So like self-care, wellness, this kind of shit that we did today, very on brand for Virgo. So if you want to like get into that on the full moon, get into like doing a little self-care, all the links for all the things are down below. And I love you so much. Please take good care of yourself. Enjoy this full moon. And please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. If you love this video and you want to support content like this, please, for the love, join the Patreon. Patreon is literally the reason that I'm able to create things that are like outside of the box, because without Patreon support, like, I'm just going to say it. AdSense does not pay the bills. So, like, Patreon is the reason that I still get to be a creator the way that I am. So, if you ever wanted to help a girl out, support me in any way, if you are able to, please consider joining the Patreon. You get a bunch of free content every single week, access to like some insane amount of posts that unlock the moment you join. I want to say we're at like 300 plus posts now. Community nights. This upcoming community night, we're doing a planning session for the Aries new moon. It's going to be after the Aries new moon later this month, but we're actually going to sit on like a call. Like we're actually going to FaceTime. It's going to be a Google Hangout, but like we're literally going to FaceTime. So it's like the same thing. We're going to call. You can bring your planning supplies. You can choose to be on video, on mic, or you can choose to just like be silent and tune in to everybody that's there. It's literally a community hangout for us. So I'm really looking forward to it, especially for Aries season. If you want to join the Patreon, it's a good time to do it, to come and join that event. And the last time I hosted an event like that, I want to say, just for like anybody that gets like afraid that it's going to be overwhelming, number one, you don't have to talk or show your face if you don't want to. And number two, it's usually a really intimate group of people. Even though we have like over 300 patrons right now, I want to say the last event we hosted, maybe like 15 people showed up to the event. So they're usually pretty intimate. They're not usually like this huge, like multiple hundreds of people showing up kind of thing. So at least that's not what I ever anticipate. So if you want to join in like an intimate setting where we get to hang out and just plan together, please consider joining. And also give the podcast a listen. Share it with somebody that you know, because our goal is to hit that 1 million listeners this year. And is there anything else? I mean, our Discord community, always, that's free to anybody that just wants to talk to like-minded individuals from the community. We have, I want to say we're like at 1,000 members on Discord now. There's a witch chat, there's a crystals chat, there's a general chat, there's like an uplifting news only, there's an emotional venting space. So if you want to join our community and chat with others, it's just like actual like text chat. You don't have to get into a call or anything. Please join the Discord. It's free and it's fun. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. Anyways, all my links are going to be down below. That's all. I love you so much, bestie. And thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for letting me express myself in new and interesting ways. These videos are so fun to make. And I'll talk to you on Friday for another upload. We're doing a pick a card next time. So pick a card on Friday. I love you so much and I'll see you there. Bye.